back, this is where it's going to get scary, to the days of 70s disco. This is, you're just going to look at me. We used to have flared trousers and big hair, all of us, and you can, this may hurt some of your psyches, but this is my favourite tune of 70s disco, went like this. Hi, my name's Larry, Libra, and I like a lady who loves to love. So if you're my kind of special lady, call me Larry Libra. Anyone know what the song was? Float On
Floaters.
By the Floaters. Absolutely correct, 100% there, sir. All the way from Surrey, he remembered a dirty name of a band. The name of the band was the Floaters. That's not the name you can call a band these days.
Like the Top of the Pops 2, that was.
Yeah, I saw it. I remember Dave Lee Travis, when he was allowed out in public, proudly announced, and now in the charts with a big #2, it's the Floaters. That's just wrong, isn't it? Well, when I was a kid, I grew up in the middle of Derbyshire, so you won't know where that is, but we used to go to Matlock Bath for his holidays, which is a seaside town on land. You wonder why I turned out weird. You're not from Matlock, are you?
I'm from Nottinghamshire.
Oh, right, fair enough.
I know Matlock Bath well.
You know, then you go back to civilization. Did you go back on your Harley Davidson on a Sunday? No. Well, all the bikers go on a Sunday. If we were good, my dad would buy me my favourite ice cream, which was a milkshake with ice cream floating in the top of it. It was called a floater. And that was fun in the 70s. These days, I take my kids to Blackpool. Anybody been to Blackpool?
Yeah.
White trash. Hello, you're my kind of people. I said to my kids, if you're good all day, Madonna and Britney, oh, fuck off. Proper names then, you get a free council house if you call right in Salford. If you're good, I'll buy you a floater. They went, no way, Dad, you freak. We ain't doing none of that. We're going to report you to Esther Ranson's child line. I'm like, ooh, I'm so scared. Esther Ranson's child line. There was a lady who worked in the same building as Jimmy Savile for 30 years and couldn't even suss out that he was a nonce. So what's the point of that then, eh? I mean, you pay your money to the BBC, a building entirely full of broadcast journalists who couldn't work out what was going on with Jimmy Savile, unless of course they were protecting somebody else, Cliff Richard. It's just a theory. If you read the papers or the interweb, because everything's true on the internet, there's a lot of it about. Anyway, let me think. That would never work though, the Floaters, because American voices are good for soul. It won't work in Britain. All right, my name's Barry. Float on. I'm from Huddersfield. Nice. That would never work. But the first album I bought, I remember back. First album I bought. Can anybody remember the first album they got? Yeah. What was that?
Back in Black.
Back in Black. Oh, he's gone for the cool one. There's no Womble's Greatest Hits there lurking just behind it. No Top of the Pops compilations. Just gone straight for rock. You remember your first album, Lorraine?
Well, it was a present, but it was Kate Bush, The Kick Inside.
Oh, Kate Bush, The Kick Inside. I like that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. First album I bought was Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits. My favourite song on that, they don't play on the radio much more. That's Me and Julio, Down by the Schoolyard. Me and Julio getting done by Operation U-Tree these days, most probably. That's the way that it goes. And as I say, I work on this tiny little radio station, and I like tribute bands these days. I've been to see a few. Anybody been to see a tribute band? Who have you been to see?
It was a Wishbone Ash tribute band.
What are they called?
Can't remember.
Oh, they've got to have a stupid name. It's.
Yeah.
I went to see a Scottish Aussie tribute band called Mag Sabbath. That's a good. Anybody else? I've seen a Scottish Cockney Rejects tribute, the Jockney Rejects. I think my favourite one's By Jovi. But I tell you, sir, my favourite tribute act I went to see the other week, they were an Australian heavy metal tribute act who obsessively ironed their own shirts all the way through the gig. That's OCDC. Thank you very much. And a round of applause from the cameraman. It's good if you can applaud comedians because it makes us feel good. Also, if you can applaud, it proves that you're actually not the drummer out of Def Leppard. Neither are you Abu Hamza. Is that wrong? I don't care. It's my gig, you're my hostages now. You live with me now. You alright there, fella? Oh, any more for any more, or they're after the loo? Okay, no, people going to the toilet. Good, excellent. We'll edit that bit out and cut in some bits of Wembley Stadium. Go on, it doesn't really matter. I'm turning this into my own working man's club here. I'm putting my elbow on there. So what the hell was I waffling on about? Tribute acts. Anybody like the Beatles? Okay, there's a bootleg Beatles. Anybody ever been down the Matthew Street in Liverpool where the cavern was? You been there? What did you think of this wonderful experience?
It's a bit sad.
A little bit sad and somewhat cheesy. Because what happened to the original Cavern Club, the most legendary nightclub in the world, Liverpool Council, knocked it down to build a car park. Well done, councillors. Work of genius. Always worth voting for them. And what did they do? Next door to the space where the cavern is, they built, it's probably the cavern. Next door to, I can't believe it's not the Cavern Club. Next door to, honestly, it's the Cavern Club. Next door to the Cavern Club chemist and the Cavern Club newsagent or whatever. And I went there to Matthew Street. Now, I went to, I can't believe it's not the cavern. There was a big sign up saying, in here today, a tribute to the Beatles. £5. I thought, I'm having this. I walked in, there's just a big poster on the wall going, nice one, Beatles. Well done. I can do rubbish like that all day. You want puns? I've got them. But I do the news on this tiny little radio station, and we'll just see how far you can go with this. My favourite newspaper headline I saw the other week walking through Salford, on the advertiser outside the newspaper shop, simply said, and I swear to God, police smash paedophile's ring. I'm like, what? Ow! Jesus Christ, that's got to hurt. Ow! Maybe jail's too good for them. Was that too far? Am I allowed to do that kind of material? But I don't make this stuff up, fella. Thanks for laughing, big fella. You're the biggest in the room and you're laughing. I win. No, but I mean, the thing is, the other ones, the stories that we live for as newsreaders are the and finallys, okay? When you're reading the news, you have to put your serious voice on and pull your chin in and read like that, because every news story is like war, famine, death, robbery, murder, and finally. I change your voice and have an inflection like that. My favourite and finally of this year was the pandas in Edinburgh Zoo. You been following that one? No? Well, there's a zoo in Edinburgh. It's got pandas in it. I'll drop clues as we go along. They think the lady panda might give birth. She's been. Pardon?
And might not.
And might not. Yeah, it's pretty much two choices there, aren't there? You can't sort of semi-do it, or there's no Liberal Democrat option there in the giving birth stakes, really, is there? So basically, do you know, they spent ages trying to get the lady panda pregnant with the man panda, and he was not doing it. He was a lazy panda, but not making sweet love to his lady panda. Do you know that no amount of Barry White albums could get them pandas to mate? No, because everybody knows that pandas prefer Marvin Gaye. I mean, it's well known. Or Otis Redding. So they could not get the pandas to mate. Do you know how they actually got the man panda to get interested? They showed him some mucky panda porn. They showed him some blue panda movies of pandas making sweet love, and the man panda finally got the idea, which is kind of fun. So that's the way it is. And I've been married a long while. I've been married 17 years, and it drops off a bit. No, it doesn't drop off. It's interest can wane. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't drop off. I've shown my good lady some saucy movies, and ever since then, oh big fella, she's been shagging pandas. But the black-eyed Chinese bastards coming over here, taking our women and our porn movies. That's for any UKIP members in the audience. If you laugh at that, you can leave now. My other favourite but least favourite and finally story was the giraffes in the zoo in Denmark. Did anybody see that story? No? Can you remember? It's a bit gruesome, wasn't it?
They had too many giraffes, so they decided to shoot one and dissect it in front of a bunch of school children.
Yes, indeed. That's what they did. They had too many giraffes, and zoos across the country, Edinburgh Zoo said, we'll have him, London Zoo, we'll have him, Berlin Zoo, Paris Zoo all said, we'll have the giraffe. And they actually shot the giraffe, dissected it, and fed it to the lions. And their excuse was, we had to do that in case it may have started inbreeding. I mean, if that's the case, surely half of Wigan should be extinct. I mean, they invented rugby league. They seem to enjoy head injuries. That's all I'm saying. Other stuff which has happened. I was so pleased when Max Clifford went to jail, because in news circles we all have rumours about naughty people, and he went to jail because he's a rapist. Good. And you know what his excuse was? This guru of PR, this master of PR. You know what his excuse was? He couldn't have been a rapist because he's got a tiny penis. I thought, well, that'll never stand up in court, will it? There you go, the master of PR, that's the best he could come up with. And but what they did was, the judge, he had to prove it, so he actually had Max Clifford's winkle measured by a doctor. And Max Clifford's winkle officially measures 5.5 inches, which the judge has declared as average. Thank you very much. we're all average with 5.5 inches if you push the ruler in really hard. It's a boy thing, don't stare at me. I mean, my other favourite one was, what's her name? Nigella Lawson was addicted to very hard drugs. Oh, I love doing that story because it had a much needed element of fun to the dull world of TV cheffery. Personally, I can't wait to see a Sunday joint. One show I want to see Nigella just going cool. Anyway, I'll start now. Just a few observations there. My name's Roland, which is fairly stupid. It's like, thanks mum, thanks dad, thanks for naming me after the fat boy off Grange Hill, puppet rat off 80s television, rat fans, and of course the 808 and 303 keyboard and synthesizers has invented dub reggae and acid house. You don't get many dub reggae and acid house references at the Edinburgh Festival. Are you into your dance music?
Well, no, I listen to music. I'm
just music
engineer.
Oh right, okay. So you're going to show me up in a minute once I know bugger all. Just say things between records. So that's me. But I think it's going to be a cool name in maybe 20 years' time, because all the pop stars, all the celebrities have a habit of giving their children utterly stupid names, do they not? Yeah? What's your favourite pop star stroke celebrity utterly stupid child name? Anybody got one?
Northwest, is it?
Yeah. Kanye West, the dancety, hippity hoppity man. He's called Kanye West. He called his daughter North. His daughter's name is Northwest. Even worse when you consider we used to have Northwest Tonight with Stuart Hall. We did on the local telly, did we not? Well, the Northwest Tonight with me, Stuart Hall, poor old Northwest. But no, I think Northwest got off quite lightly compared to her brother, Nat. Thank you very much. Was the other one about to say Apple?
Apple, yeah.
Apple. Gwyneth Paltrow and that guy Chris Martin out of the non-rock rock band Coldplay. Oh, so fucking yellow. Oh, so weak. I got let's club together and go down the shops and buy him a fuzz pedal. For God's sake. Get a roadie to hold his guitar up. Oh, they call their daughter Apple. She got quite lightly compared to her sisters, Banana and Kumquat. That's the way I look at things like that. Yeah, so that's what you get with stupid names. But my favourite stupid celebrity child name is that of Radio 1 and Radio 2 disc jockey Sarah Cox. Are we aware of Sarah Cox?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we like her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. Likeage for DJs, no one is like, nah, kill them. But Sarah Cox, 2 years ago, she had her first child. Now, if your second name happens to be Cox, it's worth thinking on in life when you call your kids something, because Sarah Cox's second name is obviously Cox. 2 years ago, Sarah Cox, and I'm emphasising the Cox here, had her first child, and she announced live on Radio 1, I, Sarah Cox, have had my first son, and I have called him Isaac. She did, and that's the kid's name. She has called her kid Isaac Cox, which is not really a name you want on the school register in case you want to end up on another register. You've just got that one there, Dad, but it's true. And don't kill the messenger. I can see it's Mark Austin's situation. Have some fan action. Laugh more, you buggers. But I would like to read the 9 o'clock news. Now, I will now never read the 9 o'clock news because my name is not stupid enough. Because my conspiracy theory is there's clearly somebody in the HR department at the BBC looking at the names on the CVs going, go on, pick that one, that's mental, that's stupid, go on, pick that one, pick that name, go on, I can't, go on, pick it. Alright, they can read the news because you must have heard it. And now, the 9 o'clock news with me, Nina Nana, get out of town. Nina Nana, Lorraine's leading the 9 o'clock news. Somebody's called their kid Nina Nana. You know? The 9 o'clock news with Nina Nana doing stories about nocturnal necrophiliacs, singing nick knock nicky nacky nicky nacky no. You can't call somebody Nina Nana. That's the sound of a police siren, for crying out loud. I mean, the news is read by Nina Nana, who's doing the sport. Woo! Who's doing the weather, and the other one, who listens to 5 Live or Radio 6, anybody? Any 6, 5, no, 2, anybody? Oh, you probably not get this, but on Newsbeat it's always Newsbeat on 6 Music with me, Vanilla Fudge. Bollocks, get out of town. You can't call somebody Vanilla Fudge. A fat lad needs cake as soon as he hears that one. I'm like, bloody hell, let's get to Fringe. See what got in there. The news read by Vanilla Fudge, who's doing the sports, Mississippi Mud Pie. Who's reading the weather, Ice Cream Sunday, Knickerbocker Glory. It's gone mental, I tell you. I can't watch the news on 5 on the telly. Yeah, anybody watch Channel 5 on the telly occasionally? If there's nothing else on the others. Mainly because the guy who reads the news is called Raggy. Raggy Omar. I can't watch the news read by a man called Raggy. There's only one man I'd be called Raggy, and that's Scooby-Doo. It's like Scooby! It's all kicking off in Israel. They're rocking it off in Iraq as well, Raggy. Over here. I can't, but one day I will read the news at 9 o'clock. I think I've got it sussed. Me and my mate Bob, we're going to change his names. I'm going to change my name to Ben Dover. And he's going to change his to Alf Hookham. Just so one day I can go, and now the 9 o'clock news with me, Ben Dover, and me, Alf Hookham. And now the sports with Isaac Cox. But oh, you got to laugh. But radio. Let me think. Who's my least favourite presenter? Anybody got a favourite presenter? No, you said no. You like Sarah Cox? Any favourites? Terry Wogan? Anybody like that?
Greg Brown.
I like Fern Cotton.
Fern Cotton. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Fern Cotton. Then normally people, as soon as you say Fern Cotton, all the pretty ladies go shh, balls out. The pretty ladies don't like Fern Cotton.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Because the thing is with Fern Cotton, okay, she's brilliantly talented, Matthew. Her main talent is the fact that her granddad was Billy Cotton, who used to run the BBC. And if you don't like Fern Cotton, always remember she used to go out with Ian Watkin out of the Lost Prophets. And that's true, and I don't want to mention what he got up to. But Fern Cotton, she's one of our greatest presenters. A couple of years ago, she was doing the Radio 1 Roadshow. And the Radio 1 Roadshow was doing something in benefit of the victims of the tsunami. Okay, Fern, what are you going to do for the victims of the tsunami? Fern, that's the tsunami. Think on, what are you going to do? Fern Cotton organised a Mexican wave. She did, and I can't make that up. That's the equivalent of organising a 1-minute round of applause for leprosy victims, really, isn't it? It's not as bad as Salford Council, who organised a sponsored swim for the victims of the Mozambique flood appeal. But councillors, they're so good. They did do, and that's the way it is. So that's Fern Cotton for you. Now, radio itself. You may not realise that we're ruled by Ofcom, okay? That's the Office of Communications. So if you do anything bad or wrong, they might take your licence away. So if you say rude words on the radio, they can fine you about £30,000. Now, a couple of years ago, just to illustrate this is in the Republic of Ireland. They're not ruled by Ofcom. Oh, excuse me. But they had a DJ on, and of course he was talking like that, because DJs, they're very lazy. They don't like to make up the content of their own shows. They want you, the listener, to begin to tell them, and it's pretty rubbish. And we all have a delay button, okay? So when you're in the studio, whatever you're saying bounces off the ionosphere and goes to your aerial, okay? That's 10 seconds ago, that's when it was said. And the delay button can cut out the last 10 seconds of whatever was said on air and throw in a jingle if somebody swears. That often happens on football shows, you probably noticed that. And in the Republic of Ireland, this DJ came up with, I want you to come up with a word which we use here in Ireland that we could put into the English language. And guess what? Nobody rang him. And he was doing this for ages. What word could we put into the English language that we use out here? It was slang words. Nothing was happening. So this guy called Sean rang in. If you're Irish, I'm not taking the mic. It's the best I can do. Sean rings in. He goes, hello, I've got a new word for the English language. He's going, okay, Sean, and what's that? It's this. Gone. Okay, Sean, and how do you spell gone? G-O-A-N. Okay, Sean, and how can you put the word into the English language? Very much like this. Go and fuck yourself. Which is true. And the guy didn't have the delay button on or anything, nothing happened, and he's still going on with this whole premise of what words can we put in the English language. Nobody else rings in. Half an hour later, Sean rings back. He puts him back on the air and he's going, okay, Sean, half an hour ago you said a rather rude word, a radio station. Have you got any other words? He's going, yes, I have. It's this word, smee. And how do you spell smee, Sean? S-M-E-E. And how could you put that word in the English language? Like this. Smee again, go fuck yourself. Which is that tells you all you need to know about DJs, to be perfectly honest. The other one is that, as I said at the top of the show, radio is syndicated in this country. We used to have things like pirate radio. Do you remember pirate radio? I just about remember it. Pirate radio was ace because all the disc jockeys were pirates. That was the best thing about it. Captain Blackbeard used to do the breakfast show and everything. And he had a hook for his hand, and one day he was trying to put an LP on and scratched it and invented the sound of rap, which was great. 2 seconds later, Blackbeard's parrot shat on the record and invented the sound of One Direction. That's what can happen. So basically, we in this country, it's all syndicated, it's made from a central place, it's all done on Myriad, you don't even pick your own CDs, and somebody else has picked them all for you. And the criteria is, okay, this is a secret, it's supposed to be, commercial radio is supposed to be for 35-year-old women with 2 kids. That's who they're targeting at. So you get up, you make the kids breakfast, you turn the radio on, you get in the car, you take them to school with the radio on, then you go to Tesco's with the radio on, blah, 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 blah. Most 35-year-old women I know would kick your head in if you made them listen to that One Direction, Boyzone and all that drivel. So what happened a couple of years ago was that there was one particular group who decided to do a charity thing where the police were doing good work for children. Okay? It was called Cops for Kids. Okay, so it's called Cops for Kids, obviously made by a chap in London, and the police were doing bungee jumping and marathon running. Now that's okay, but they didn't take into account the fact that we have different accents in this country, so it's okay if you're down south going Cops for Kids, not too good once you get up to Burnley in Lancashire, where they start talking like that. Because I was driving past Burnley listening to 2BR radio, where local radio DJ went, and now it's time for charity appeal, Cops for Kids. I can't make it up. Just look at they don't. I'm sure that the police don't do that. I just like add that as a disclaimer. And a lot of people say downloading's killing music. You a downloader? You're like, yeah, download. Downloading's not killing music. Simon Cowell's doing that quite easily on his own. Because what won Britain's Got Talent 2 years ago? A dog. The most talented thing in Britain, according to the great British public, goes around on 4 legs and craps on the floor. Or was that Susan Boyle? I don't know. Now then, the premise of the show, he said after going on for a good 35 minutes, why do you quit your high-flying sales job to run Britain's worst radio station in a high-crime area? Okay, I did. This is a true story, and this is where every Edinburgh show after about 30-odd minutes goes into a bit of a lull. Because they usually do a sad bit about the dad dying or something like that, if you've been to see a few. So, just this story. I used to be a salesman. Any other salesman in? Just Matthew. What do you sell?
I used to sell frozen ready meals to hotel chains and pub groups.
Wow, and that was your big dream.
No, that's why I do comedy now.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much similar to what I used to do. I used to sell incentives to food companies. Okay, so if you looked at like Kellogg's cornflakes and there's a 2-for-1 kids days out, our company used to sell them. So, you know, like 2-for-1 kids days out at Legoland, 2-for-1 kids days out at Disneyland, 2-for-1 kids days out in Poundland. That's a theme park in Wigan. Oh, shell soup for £1, that's nice. And we used to sell them, and I used to sell them to food companies. I can't lie about this, it's on the shelves of Tesco's. There's a cheese company in the Isle of Man, which I used to try and sell to. I couldn't because I used to laugh too hard. It is entitled the Isle of Man Cheese Company. Now, the worst job in the country is the poor lady on reception at the Isle of Man Cheese Company who has to pick up the phone every 2 seconds and go, "Hello, Isle of Man Cheese, can I help you?" I'm like, what? She's like, "Isle of Man Cheese, can I help you?" I don't know, I've never done phone sex before. What are you wearing? I'm wearing my vest and pants. Oh no, she's gone. And it's made by the Isle of Man Creameries. It could have been worse. I used to also have to ring up the Isle of Man Meat Corporation. I just fucking laughed too hard. Oh, wouldn't you love to do that? Just sat there going, "I love man meat." Or maybe you don't. I don't know. All day long. Could have been worse. At one point, I wanted to work for the German electronical company Siemens. Their headquarters is in Staines. You knew that. But Siemens at one point were thinking of relocating their IT department to a small village near Bury called Upper Ramsbottom. Now, wouldn't you love to work there for one day, just sat there going, "Hello, Siemens Upper Ramsbottom, can I help you?" They never actually relocated to Upper Ramsbottom, they relocated to the small German village of Upper Nunsbum. I was speaking a word of German, so, sorry if that was a bit rude. But so we used to sell these incentives. Now, then the company moved on to selling free flights. This is where people go, was that Hoover promotion that went tits up and cost the company millions? Nearly. What I used to sell these to credit card companies. The deal was, it was one free return flight to Europe, okay? But if a second person wanted to go, they could pay the normal rate. So, on Ryanair. There was a catch to it. So what would happen is, I'd sell them for £10 to go to Lloyds TSB credit cards. They'd say, you spend 50 quid on your credit card, get one free flight to Europe, and then of course our company would sell them a second one, we'd make the money off the credit card company, punters would be happy, excuse me, nearly called them something else. So they'd be all happy. So this is where you can really hate me. 2005 I was on about 30 grand, 2006 35, 2007 I was up to nearly 40 grand, 2008 I was over 40 grand, and then something bad happened, the economy went tits up for a start. But also, my boss, as salespeople often do, especially in sales, got a bit arrogant and thought he could get away with everything. He sold one free cruise around the Mediterranean to readers of the Daily Express. Okay? Now, what do you think the average age is of the average Daily Express reader? Have a guess. Have a guess. Any numbers?
60.
6? No, higher. Brucey says higher, go higher. 60.
80.
A little bit lower.
79.
72. That's the average age of a Daily Express reader is 72. The way we were on the promotion was one free cruise around the Med and your partner's going to pay for the second free cruise. You can see it unravelling in front of your eyes already. If you save up 30 tokens in the Daily Express. Day one, splashed on the front page, Judith Chalmers advertising it on TV. This is true. You can look at it on the internet how it went tits. And basically, so by day 15 it's in a very, very tiny corner of the Daily Express on page 15 or something like that. Who, in their right mind, is going to save up 30 tokens day after day in the Daily Express? Daily Express readers mainly, 35,000 of them, all saved up for one free cruise. But our boss said, don't worry, because what we're going to do is ring them all back and sell them the second person a cruise at the normal standard rate. So we'll be covered. So we rang back a load of 72-year-old ladies and offered them one free cruise, saying, of course your partner's going to come with you. Now, my husband died 10 years ago, I think I'll go on my own. So we owed 35,000 people one totally free cruise costing about 700 quid each. The company went into meltdown, the call centre walked out, and we ended up on Watchdog 3 times. My desk was nearest the door. This has nothing to do with me, I was selling flights at the time, Your Honour. I just said, sounding very much like a guard in a concentration camp. I was obeying the orders. I walked out for my roll, cob, butty, snap, Cobb, Nottingham, on my lunch stroke dinner break, if you're middle class or working class, and the camera crew were there, and I just said, well, how'd you get into this? They went, oh, we're broadcast journalists, we went to university. So I walked back into the office, threw down my keys to my Audi, and went, sod it, I'm off. I went to university aged 40 and qualified as a broadcast journalist, and it was in Preston. Who knew there was a fucking university in Preston? What a surprise that was. Jesus Christ, I've driven past the place plenty of times. And I got that, and I qualified, and I then got a job running Salford City Radio, which is a community radio station situated in a porter cabin with 20-foot high bars around it and bars on the windows to prevent the locals from petrol bombing it, because it's a bit rough round there, isn't it, my friend? It is. Salford, if you don't know what it is, it prides itself on being Manchester's twin city. It is, in very much the sense of you can have one twin who's highly intelligent and the other one's a thieving bastard. You know, if Manchester was a well-to-do sort of bricklayer with his own fleet of vans, Salford would be his next-door neighbour with 3 fridges on the front lawn, resplendent in some of the finest tracksuits that Pound Stretcher can possibly retail, chain-smoking Lambert and Butler. It's that kind of relationship. You know, it's like if Croydon said, oh, we're Surrey's twin city, you know, that kind of deal, basically. So that's the way, and 50% of the people there actually live in poverty, which is a shit name for any district of any town. Why not live in opulence? You're just staring at me now, what's he talking about? So I run that, and it is a bit dangerous and a bit scary. Now, I want to show you, this is kind of, you have your dream of running a radio station, we're not syndicated. The best thing about it is I'm in charge of the play-out system and the Myriad and the news. So we do sounds of the 70s, there's a lot of Frank Zappa on there at 9 AM. Like nobody else is doing that. You know, and the sensational Alex Harvey band turn up quite a lot. on the breakfast show. Nobody else does, but we can. And we've got the Stone Roses, New Order and Happy Mondays. Well, all that kind of thing. Now, this is our station logo. Just tell me, this is what I've inherited. What does this look like? That's the station logo. Any clues?
Looks like a rapper with headphones on.
A
Sweet rapper.
A sweet rapper with headphones on.
A fish.
A fish closer. Everybody says, is that Billy the Fish off a Viz comic? Is it Billy the Fish? Is it Billy the Fish off Viz comic? Because it's actually a map of Salford with headphones on it. But everybody says, is that Billy the Fish? It's in 10 foot high, written on the studio wall. And everybody said, Billy the Fish, Billy the Fish. I put towns' names on it, Swinton, Pendleton, people went, why have you written towns' names on Billy the Fish? Until last month, a rather observant chap came into our office and went, is that Rolf Harris? Is it? Is that Rolf Harris? I've got that on the wall of my radio station, and I drive a community van with that logo on it around a high crime area where people have got guns. Are you the Rolf Harris guy? No, fucking not Rolf Harris. It's not calling me Rolf Harris, for God's sake. So that's what we do, and you know, we have a great call sign at Salford City Radio, mainly Salford City Radio. What are you fucking staring at? We don't have a weather forecast, we just have a sign up on the window going, it's Salford, it's going to piss down. And we engage the local community. That's what we have to do, engage the local community. We get loads of requests on our station, mainly the local gangsters dedicating the next drive-by to the pigs, which that's the way it is. And people say to me, how do you raise money at a community radio station? Well, I train the local youth. You're thinking, fucking hell, have you got a black belt? They are the NEET kids. Does anybody know what NEET kids are? NEET?
Lots of employment educational training.
Indeed, well done. 2 points to you, my clever. What's your name?
Catherine.
Catherine. Do you train kids? Are you a teacher?
Work in education, yeah.
You work, so I used to slag off teachers. Now I'm like, teachers, I have your respect, because I have to train these NEET kids. And you know, they've all got, the social worker brings them in every week. They've all got these funny names, like the girls are all named like gangster rappers but spelt wrong. You know what I mean? There's Kaylisha, Aisha, Umbisha, and Diarrhea. And the boys have all got them names, like there's Jadon, there's Jordan, there's Kadon, there's Kalon, and Condom. And maybe his parents didn't like him, I don't know. They all come in doing the constipated monkey walk. And I have to turn to middle-class wanker, basically. And I have to go, okay, kids, we have an open access computer policy here at Salford City Radio. And I can see that young Jordan's already started openly accessing one of our computers with a screwdriver. So that's technically what we call theft. But they turn around and they don't have test you. They're like, it's your fault, you should have nailed it down, then I wouldn't have had to steal it, innit? And that's what you get off them. And, you know, I try and help them, and I find out about their lives, you know. I'm like, so young Jordan, what does your daddy do? Crack. You know, young Umbisha, what's your mummy doing? 7 years for hand blagging. And you know where the Smiths did the Salford Lads Club thing, the picture. Don't go there, it's blooming dangerous. The BBC built a big new complex. If you go into the CBeebies, go there, but stay on the reservation, that's all I'm saying. Don't go across the road, because it's like the Smiths fan in the middle of Salford. It's just like a gazelle on a David Attenborough movie with lions around it. That's what it's like. Oh, this is, I'm driving past going, that's not going to end well. Smith's t-shirt, whilst the hoodies are popping heads up going, free money. And you know, I help out these kids, and I drive them in the bus with Rolf Harris on the side of it. And that last week, I bought all the kids a huge bag of magic mushrooms. Oh, my boss said to me, the kids want to go on a trip, organise it. I'm like, fucking yes. Oh, they'll be going on a trip all right. Have you ever been on a bus full of neat kids all screaming, why are we going to Narnia? I'm like, I don't know, there's a unicorn driving and we crashed into a rainbow. Come on, way to hell. Sean and Bez, lunchtime, dish out the disco biscuits. Come on, let's keep rocking. Which is always fun. We got to Blackpool and I said, kids, we're in Blackpool, get me some rock. They got me some rock in about 2 minutes and smoked the fucker on the back of the bus. And I teach them DJing skills. If you're anybody into dance music, I teach the kids, I got my records out, teach them some DJing skills. And I said to young Jordan, you know, what's your favourite 45? He pulled out a Luger. I said to Kayleisha, you know, what's your favourite piece of 7-inch vinyl? And she pulled out a dildo, which wasn't what I was expecting. But that's the way it is, you know, they're good kids, they're not really that bad. And Salford is actually so rough, you'll back me up on this. What's the name of the hospital? Oh fuck, no. It's the worst named hospital in the country. It's actually called Hope. What a rubbish name for a hospital. Hope. You're going to get better with these gunshot wounds? Hope. I'm Dr. Clueless. Not that much idea. And you know, in the car park there, in Hope Hospital in Salford, I believe in the NHS, it exists, it's not believed, it's structural. There's an enormous sign, a huge sign, a massive sign in the car park which merely says, warning, thieves operate in this car park. I'm like, is that what the NHS has come to? Thieves are now performing surgical operations outside in the blooming car park. It'd be like, nice one, Nozza, I've delivered a baby, let's take it down cash convert, or see if we can get some chunky gold sovereign wings for it. Right, I've been waffling on for nearly 50 minutes now. Okay, still smiling, still in the room. Right, I do a lot of news, and it's one of those questions, are the kids alright, as the Who once said. I went and interviewed a little girl called Anya, if I can move this thing around, if I'm any good at this. Playlists, go to that one, Edinburgh. Yeah, went to interview Anya. She is a little girl who was 6. For her 5th birthday, this is a serious bit of the show, it don't last long, don't worry. For her 5th birthday, she had seen kids starving in Bangladesh, so she got all her friends not to give her presents, just give her money. So she gave it to Action Aid and she raised a couple of £100, which I thought was cool. So for her 6th birthday she was going to do it again, so I went to interview her for the news and she sounds a bit like this. Come on.
Well, at my friend's house I saw some poor children and I thought about my 5th birthday and it made me think about, like, I want to do that again. I want to do it for those children, so I did it.
Which was great. So she raised 200 quid for Action Aid and sent it all to Bangladesh. And then I also asked her, what about your best friend Izzy? Is she going to do the same thing?
Yeah, I've already asked my best friend Izzy if she doesn't want to do it.
Oh, why not?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think she just wants lots of presents.
Well, a selfish cow. You see, we can see who's going to grow up to be a salesperson and who's going to work in a charity straight away. But you know, it's community radio, we can make up anything, we can play tons of good tunes, that's kind of where rock and roll radio exists these days, not on your airwaves. But anybody can make a mistake. Now, this is my favourite news presenter, James Naughty. Should have pronounced it naughty. Bad luck, shut your ears, kids, here we go. You think James Naughty could pronounce the name of Cabinet Minister Jeremy Hunt?
First up after the news, we're going to be talking to Jeremy Hunt, the Culture Secretary.
Anybody can make a mistake on radio, but if you do make a mistake, what can you do? Organise a disco.
Police want thought out.
Sorry, this one's Jeremy Vine, my favourite on Radio 2. Do you think that Jeremy Vine could actually pronounce a police hunt in Croydon?
1,000 volunteers to give their DNA so they can be eliminated in the hunt for a killer in Croydon.
Many people have said that about Croydon, but what the heck? Have a disco. I told you the rude words. And now, Nicky Campbell's my favourite on Radio 5. Do you think he could pronounce the West Kent Hunt? Take a wild guess.
Georgie Worsley is master of the Old Surrey and Burstow and West Kent Hunt.
Oh well, what the hell?
West Cunt.
Ah, who says I've got no DJing skills? Maybe bomb the youth are getting into that now then. Anybody can make a mistake, as I said. There used to be a community radio station around here called Brick FM. In the Scottish borders. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. No, you won't be doing, because it ain't on the air anymore. As I said before, Ofcom can fine you if you say rude things, but if you're on the BBC, the middle class, you can get away with it. But this is a community radio station. This is a report from Ofcom. Brick FM from the Scottish borders was hauled before media regulator Ofcom after appearing to breach broadcasting regulations by playing songs which included the words and Panani. DJ Roundabout, yo biggity bong, DJ Roundabout for fuck's sake, that's got Jimmy Savile written all over it if you think about it, next to DJ Swings and DJ Ice Cream Man, appeared on Rory's Roots Reggae Show. He played the song More Punani by the artiste Dr. Evil. Now, Ofcom were going to hit them with a fine, however, Brick FM station management defended the broadcasts, saying that fuck was a commonly used word in Scotland, which is not considered offensive locally, and went so far as to suggest that Ofcom was unfamiliar with the local dialect and was in fact being racist against Scottish people. It went on to defend itself by saying that a punani was a sandwich sold locally, which is made of Italian bread with cheese and tomato, which is heated up. Ofcom handed the station a £30,000 fine and commented, "It's a panini, you fucking twat." Well, we can all make mistakes, you know, and I've made a few in my time. My mate Mick, who's Irish on our station, he wanted to do like a traditional music and comedy show. I thought it'd be great, be a bit like Mark Harding, traditional music and comedy. I said, "Mate, what are you going to call it?" He said, "I'm thinking of calling it Folk and Nonsense." Now, imagine that when he opened the fader the first time, saying, "Hello and welcome to Folk and Nonsense." That didn't go too well, and the other time I got Big Maggie, who does a lot of our community shows. She wanted to do a show for people who are very bashful to get them on the air. And I said, "What are you thinking of calling it?" She said, "I'm thinking of calling it Shy Talk." Now, imagine you open the fader and said, "Hello, welcome to Shy Talk." It didn't go down too well. And I left there and I had to go back into sales, which was terrible because I started making tons of money again. Until one day I sent off all my demos to every station across the country, and one come back from a station in Manchester called Real XS. I don't know if you would have heard of it. There used to be a Real XS in Glasgow as well, but that's been taken off for XFM, where you can listen to Coldplay all fucking day long, as well as U2. It doesn't rock at all. But Real XS said this is the funniest thing I've ever heard, and he trained me up, and I've got a really, really late night show on Real XS, and I don't choose any of the songs, and we play the same 10 artists over and over and over again. Luckily the artists that we play, the Beatles, the Stones, the Kinks, the Who, Jimi Hendrix, the Ramones, the Clash, David Bowie and Lou Reed. I don't have any say over this, and the other thing is, I'm not really there. I pre-record it all about 2 weeks beforehand, and that's as rocking as you're gonna get. So if you do still like a decent bit of radio, perhaps sometimes you're best off listening to community radio or whatever, but if you do still love your tunes, it's still out there. So I'll end up, this song kind of sums up what I'm about. This is Rush and Spirit of Radio, so thank you very much. Good afternoon. I have to turn back into a salesman and beg for your money. So thank you very much and cheers. Ta-da.